and welcome to Add More Zest. My name's Rebecca, also known as 4Kids at 147, and it is time to dekit two lots of PaintGem minis. I have popped them into their books already, so I will give you a rundown of those once we have got the diamonds away, and I've just zipped that up rather than unlocking it. It's also time for a clear out, so I don't need these. I have popped them all in their right spaces. How much tape did I put on this one at all? Okay, I didn't put as much tape on the bottom. Put a longer strip of tape on the top, but I don't need those anymore. I do need my diamonds, so let's grab my first squares box, which is my 100s to 500s. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go row by row and do anything that fits in this box. And then I'll move on to the next box. Now, if anybody saw my craft room tour, that's what's actually happened. Maybe not. I think my black bag of 310s did go everywhere in my drawer. I have not yet fixed that. I'm not sure when I will. It's one of those things that it's not stopping me from doing anything else, so I'm just going to ignore it for a short period of time until I am ready to face it. But I did zip it back up on that video, and then it's just looked to me like it was unzipped. So I think what's happened is the zip has for some reason not caught properly and has maybe pulled itself apart. I don't know, that or I have ghosts going in and unzipping it. But I still have loads of 310s in there. I just have a load in my drawer as well. So I'm going to pop those 310s in, leave that for a later date problem, i.e. not today. And when I do have a sort out of them, I will probably find a way of either putting my 310s in something else, or more likely I will work it so that my 310s, the bag that they're in stands a bit more upright. And then if for any reason it's not zipped up, it won't be a problem in the future. That's what I'm going for. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm going by this case first, because this is the most, I suppose, the most awkward in the fact it has more colours. It's also feels more jumbled up than these, mainly because these are single bottles. But I am checking as I'm putting away each one of these. So as I'm going to 519, as I'm putting these diamonds in this bag, I'm also checking if I have 519 in here. And I don't. So I will just pop that one away and I will continue through this case. And then I will go through the next case. So what have we got next that's under 600? So 353, 353, and then a quick scan for 353 on here. Though a lot of these colours, because it's safari, are the greys and the browns. There is a couple of other colours in there, but it's primarily like duller colours. So, plus if any of them I do end up missing, I can always just pull out the bag again to pop them in. But we had 2 in that one. So then I'll get the stickers off, because it's less numbers to look at, especially as I get further on and I end up with numbers that are higher. So end up with numbers in the 3000s. It'd definitely be easier if I don't have as many to look at. So 307, which is a bright yellow, I do actually have in Safari as well. Not many though. It's probably just in some animal's eye or something. Or some attachment. I actually can't remember what had bright yellow. There's a bright green in here as well. I don't know what had bright green on it. Now, the stickers have taken more to come off these bottles than they are off these ones. These small plastic. Now, whether they're different stickers because they are different kits, or whether it's because I've Goo-Gone these a little bit more, that it's letting the stuff off a little bit easier, I'm not sure. But we'll carry on. 3, 2, 1. Nope, not seeing any of that. So we'll bob that one in, and then 3, 4, 9. 3, 4, 9. Get away some red. Feels like ages ago I finished these kits. Probably because it was ages ago that I finished these kits. It was quite a while ago that I got these completed. But I've got a queue for de-kitting of kits. I think I've got one more to de-kit, and then I do actually have a case of random diamonds from one of the kids' diamond paintings that I also need to de-kit at some point. But that's definitely a later problem. I might do that when I de-kit something else. It's a round, so I might de-kit it at the same time as my next round, which will probably be my tiger. Right, 318. Have we got this one? Because this one is a grey. No. We don't. So no, 318, 336. I don't think I have any more other threes. I think I just have fours. So 336. So let's get the stickers off those two. I like to take the stickers off as we go because the stickers are an awful job. So doing them bit by bit always feels that little bit nicer. Okay, 415. I do have this in both of them. So 415 for them both. I also have a couple of other 400s in this kit, and I have no more in this one to go in this box. So we'll get these away. These are going to be my awful stickers, but at least this is the kit with less colours. And maybe once I've Goo-Gone these, they'll be a little bit nicer next time. Okay, so 414 I've got in here. And again, let's fight with the sticker. I'm definitely going to have to Goo-Gone these bottles when we're done, just to get rid of the sticky residue that's staying under my nails, etc. as well. And then what's the other one? 413. It's also in here. And then we do have a couple, a 300 and a 400 and a 500. These little bottles. I did get a case. I think I got a case, or I didn't buy a case ages ago that had like 60 bottles and had these tiny ones in them, because I never thought they'd be much use. I always thought the bigger bottles would be better. But to be honest, they work perfect for these kits. Right, let's pull out anything now that goes in this box to save me looking over these numbers countless times. So 326. gorgeous red. So as many of you know, I have now moved to having 4 boxes for my square spares. I do feel like I need to trim down some of my bags for my squares a little bit more than I did on, say, the first pass. I feel like some of the bags are too full, especially some of those 400s I've just done. I will get round to it at some point. I don't know whether I'll particularly do a video on it or just maybe one day when I do get to spend some time in here, maybe when I'm cleaning up my 310s and reorganising, making it pretty in here and fine-tuning a couple of ways I organise a couple of bits, mainly in these drawers underneath my desk. The bookcase, how my bookcase is arranged, if you've seen my craft room tour, how the bookcase is arranged works perfect for me. I do want to get, I probably will pinch one out the shop, a holder, a slightly prettier holder for my cover paper. I'm actually thinking of sectioning it off as well so that I can keep the Christmas ones to one side and stuff. So that is something that I'm thinking of doing as maybe a little project in the future. If I don't have any paintings that need de-kitting or kitting up. Right, I'm going to keep hold of that bookmark. One of my boxes doesn't have a bookmark in at the moment, and I can never remember which one it is. So I'm going to keep this one out and switch it about. I do need to bring one in from the shop. That's also many things that I sort of need to do as my final craft room finessing. Is doing things like getting another book thing, making sure I've got some form of tape in here for taping these to my boxes when I kit up. I still don't have it in here, it's in the shop. Yeah, so there's a few different things like that. But this is my 600s, 700s and 800s in here. So I've got 725. So yeah, maybe when I tidy up my 310s that went everywhere in my drawer, I might then decide to sort of pare down a few of these and make them a little bit less full on some of them that I think I was a little bit more conservative on, just so that de-kitting is easy across the board. Okay, what I think I'm going to do, I keep scanning over these for any numbers that are the same, but these pots are removable and really easy to group together. So they're my 700s and 800s, and if I keep them together like that, as I go through this, the more awkward one, I can have a quick glance at my 700s and 800s and see if any match up, and then deal with them at the end. Okay, 700. Sevens, and it's not 7s and 8s, is it? It's 6s, 7s and 8s. Did I have any 6s in there? No, I didn't anyway. That's okay. Okay, so that's 700. That's got 6 and 7s. So 699. We'll do you first while you're next door. Get that one in. But there's definitely loads more room in these boxes. It's not room that I need. It's just some bags are pretty full. It's just those that I need to shrink down a little bit. I'll show you if I come across another one. But yeah, there's a few little bits that I'd like to finesse in this craft room. Not hugely, not huge amounts at all, but there is just a couple of little bits that I'd like to do. Right, let's put that one there while it's empty, so I'm only looking down this strip. And then we want 816. Another empty strip. Woohoo! Empty's always good. It means we're getting there, getting things de-kitted. I've also decided with my PaintGem minis, so normally I would always have 3 kitted up at a time, and I would have 2 in this style box and 1 in this smaller box that only holds up to 30 colours. But I only have 2 PaintGem mini kits that have 30 colours or less, and I'm trying to not have too many paintings kitted up all at once. I'm trying to sort of, my goal for 2024 is to not overwhelm myself too much with too many paintings kitted up at once, because while it's fine in the short term, whenever something happens with life that stops me from diamond painting for whatever reason, life gets busy, or whether I'm diamond painting something else because of some event that's come up, I then get to the point where I feel like it's too much, having too many kitted up. And even though there is no pressure to complete them, I feel pressure to complete them. So I've taken the decision in 2024 to sort of knock things down a bit, knock them on the head a little bit, and I'm currently finishing up my whips, and I'm trying to make sure that I don't have too many paintings all kitted up at once. Now, my PaintGem minis weren't a see, look, that one's a bit too full. My PaintGem minis weren't a huge part of that, because even when they're kitted up, they don't take a lot of space. But every now and then, they could make me feel a little bit like that, especially if I hadn't done a PaintGem mini in a while. So I've taken the decision to put my PaintGem minis down to just having 2 kitted up. But I'm still only going to work on 1, and the second one is going to be there ready for when I finish the first one. It's more of a, I'm not necessarily going to rush to get it kitted up when I've finished one and de-kitted it, but I'll sort of do it in the natural flow. So I am going to kit up another PaintGem mini probably next week. I think I've scheduled it for next week. So I have it ready for when I finish the retro one. But I'm going to put all my PaintGem mini kits together on one decision wheel, and if it picks a painting that has less than 30 colours, I will kit it up in this, and if it has one that has more than 30 colours, I will kit it up in this, and the other one will sit on the shelf and wait for the next spin of the wheel. Because the reason I'm kitting up 2 and not just waiting until it's completely finished before I kit up my next one is partly because PaintGem minis do have this little slot that they fit in perfectly to in my life. Sometimes it's when I want to be able to take a project on the go. So if we go away for a few days, or if we're going, you know, to spend, say, you know, a relaxing type of day with family for maybe an all-day thing. Not just an evening, but if we're going for sort of an all-day thing, there are pockets of time that is, you know, quiet and everybody's sort of doing their own thing or chatting, and quite often that's when I like to do a PaintGem mini while chatting. There's also some evenings where, you know, life's busy, I don't get to stop until maybe late on, maybe 8, half 8 at night before it's like, okay, what do I fancy doing? And if that is diamond painting, if it's half 8, 9 o'clock at night, I don't want to come in and work on my big painting. Partly because by that time of night I'm more wanting to sit on the couch with my feet curled up, but it's also, I like to do a big section of my big diamond paintings. I like to peel off, you know, 3 sheets worth of cover paper, which can take an hour and a half, 2 hours to do, and I don't want to start doing that at like half 8 at night, 9 o'clock at night. So I love to grab a PaintGem Mini with my A5 clipboard, curl up on the couch and do some diamond painting, but know full well that I'm not going to turn around and go, oh, it's midnight, I should have been in bed ages ago. So for that reason, because that could happen 2-3 nights on the trot, if life gets busy, then I don't want to have run out of a PaintGem Mini and not have one kitted up, ready to go. So I kind of like having one as a buffer. And seeing as I always use the same storage for my PaintGem Minis, I don't feel like that's something that's, it's not going to cause any problems with anything else. It's either going to be sat on the shelf empty or it's going to be sat ready to go. And I personally would rather have it ready to go than sat empty, if that makes sense to everybody, which it may or may not do. Because my brain can work differently to others. So yeah, I thought I will still kit up a second PaintGem Mini. If I start feeling overwhelmed with having 2 kitted up, if I do get that feeling that I should be doing these, I've got 2 ready and I'm not doing them, then I will take the decision to just have 1 kitted up. Because for some reason, if a painting's kitted up, it bothers me more than if it's not kitted up at all. I'm happy to have, you know, my allotted space for my stash. And while I'd like to get my big painting stash down, my PaintGem Mini stash doesn't bother me at all. Fits on the shelf, it's got space. It can be happy as Larry in there for as long as it needs to be. Oh, my bag slipped down under my card. Yeah. Excuse me. This lurgy that hubby's passed me is causing a right throaty cough. Yeah, so I'm going to kit up another PaintGem Mini. I say I'm pretty sure it's next week. It will help with my kitting up bug as well. I feel like I've not kitted something up in quite a while because I'm trying to work through my stash. I feel like I've done loads of kitting downs, which will be because I have. And I say I still have more to do. I still have another kitting down to do. A bigger square one to do. I'm probably going to have finished Purple Tiger by next week, which means I'll have that to kit down. That's around. So, and then it wouldn't surprise me if Field of Memories is quite quickly behind it, because that one is also progressing. So yeah, I've got visions of feel like I'm kitting down for weeks. Right, they're all my, so this is my 900s to 3600s. I only have 900s and then they start 37. So what have we got here? We've got a 9. This box properly needs sorting out. I can see diamonds floating around in the bottom of this like nobody's business. It needs a right tidy up. Okay, let's see how many we can get rid of here. Oh, these are all 900s. So are these. That's got a 3/6. That should be at the back. That's got one. There we go. I'll get rid of all the diamonds that are floating around the bottom of there in a minute. And I forgot to check that one for these. It's okay. We'll go back if we need to. That's the thing when dekitting two at the same time. Sometimes I forget to glance over and check if I had the same colour twice. Some of these diamonds as well, especially in the ocean kit, I do have a lot left because I did add ABs into my ocean kit. The main reason you can't see them in this dekitting is I pulled them out for some other project. I can't remember what other project that was, but I did pull them out. Oh, I think I was dekitting my Dreamer Designs, and I wanted to see if I had my AB pouch, if it was stuck in with my ocean ones. So I have already pulled the AB pouches out of this case. That was sort of done part way through. That's another thing, when I don't dekit pretty soon after finishing it, I feel like it throws me off a little bit. So it's definitely nice to get all these paintings dekitted, that's for sure. I'm definitely liking that it's starting to feel a bit tidier in this craft room, even though all the things to dekit were still tidy on the shelf. I just felt like they were on the wrong shelf. Having my dekitting shelf empty will make this room feel better. Anyway, do let me know if I'm not the only crazy one that thinks the same sort of thing when it comes to dekitting or feeling a bit straighter. And yeah, let me know. Have you got paintings to dekit? Do you dekit in bulk? I have decided to club these two together, partly just because I have so many paintings to dekit. It's like, how many dekitting videos do I actually want to create? And the answer is, I feel like I have plenty. I've dekitted 2 kits I did in December, a kit I did in November, White Christmas. That was done between Christmas and New Year. What else did I dekit? Oh, maybe it has only been those 2. And then this one. And then I've got the Diamond Art Club mystery one to do as well. Maybe it's just because I've had at least one a week. It makes me feel like I've just got loads and loads of dekitting to do. Because I have been filming them as I've gone along. Right, that one's still got some left. 948. There you are, hiding. So yeah, it's kind of nice to double up on them sometimes as well. I was tempted to sort of throw the Diamond Art Club one in and just do a big hurrah to dekitting. At one point I was like, do I just dekit 4 or 5 all together? Just throw them all in and go, well, hey, let's go for it. But there can be a certain level where it gets, or I feel it gets just a little bit too complicated, and I just end up making it a little bit too much all at once. So yeah, I decided 2 together is a good plan, and these are sort of linked with them both being mini kits anyway. Right, what have we got now? 375, because I'm waffling about all sorts and I don't quite know if I have a point to my discussion. But I'm nearly finished with this box. I've had no new colours so far though. PaintGem, for the past few PaintGems I've dekitted, I have quite often ended up with very, very similar colours, if not ended up with colours, new colours in most kits, even if it's only just been like one new colour. But these two, I think I may have got through the colour palette of PaintGem by now, because I do have a lot of books up there of completed PaintGem sets, because they're just such fun to do, to be honest. Right, 976. So I did end up using that pink bookmark, so I'll leave that one in there. I did have 3 bookmarks already. It's just the 4th one that I was missing. So let's get rid of these, but keep an eye out for these. So 3837 is actually that end one. I'm actually quite looking forward to the cleaning up of the pots. I don't know if anybody else does that. I love cleaning out, you know, any rogue diamonds, any gone in my cases, and getting them all nice and tidy and ready to go away. Oh, that was another thing I wanted to do. I wanted to make, so this is 2 pieces of foam board together. I was going to get at some point some more white foam board, because I didn't have any in, which is why this is black. I wanted to get some white foam, make some of these, but don't put the numbers on them. Just make them as like extra little spacers that can be moved about to help the diamonds stand upright. And I was going to pop them all in the backs of these. So maybe in the summer, I'm saying summer because I feel like projects like that, spring, that's when it needs to be done. It's sort of a spring kind of job. It's not a cold, wintry kind of job. It's a spring kind of job. So maybe in the spring, I will do a little sort of, maybe another sort of spring clean, but not a spring clean, just a spruce up. Maybe that's the word, a spruce up of just this box, because all my others have white dividers. It's only this extra one that doesn't. And I'll make myself a load of these little dividers so that I can push these further forward so that they stand up straight. But as soon as they start getting a bit full, I can pull ones out really, really easy. And just make it a lot easier to work with. And be able to de-kit with a bigger smile on my face. I say, I still enjoy de-kitting. I enjoy the fact that these move quite freely. And they let me get to the diamond packets and pop them back in nicely. But yeah, I like it when things match. Okay, one case down. Stickers are off. Let's get rid of the last of these, of my safari ones, and then I can get my pots cleaned up, and then I can show you my completed sets and the AB diamonds that I've placed on my ocean ones. I've done it with a few PaintGem kits now, where I've mixed in AB diamonds. A couple of the AB colours that I have are from a set from Diamond Art Studio, where they have just a range of colours in ABs. But most of the ABs I use are actually ones that are left over from kits that have had AB diamonds in. I find that AB spare diamonds are the easiest diamonds to sort of use up. my big Heaven and Earth design project aside, because you can switch out a colour for an AB colour, and I love doing it with PaintGems if the set suits. So Safari doesn't suit switching out to ABs, in my opinion. It doesn't. Just because of the animals that are in it, I don't think ABs would look right. But Ocean, there was some really good AB additions that I was able to do to that. Okay, diamonds are away. So let's sort out my cases. So I have an AB pen. I actually have multiples of these now. I don't have a diamond painting on the go that has AB diamonds. So at the moment, all my AB pens are up there. I have some diamonds in there, and then I have some diamonds in here. Now, these cases aren't the ones that came with this double-decker storage. These are actually out of the smaller one. Somebody on the group mentioned how they'd swap them out so you could fit more colours in this tray. And since then, I've done the same. My bin's still full of a lot of rubbish, but there's enough space for diamonds. So that case is done. That doesn't need any Goo Gone. It's pretty clean. I could give it a full-on wipe down with a cloth, but that's extreme. So that can go on the shelf. But this one, if my camera will focus, this one definitely needs a clean. This one has sticker residue all over it. So I have some Goo Gone, smells of oranges, with a child safety cap that obviously doesn't like me today. A very ratty cloth that has primarily been used for removing sticky stuff, but it's lint free, so it's not catching loads of little bits of fluff. And I wipe over each bottle. Now I do find that if you have the bits that have a little bit of the paper left on it, sometimes need a couple of wipes over. So you'll see, or you may have seen, that when I dekitted, I did scrape off as much of the paper as I could with my nail. And that's because while Goo Gone will soak it and allow you to scrape it off easier, you often then need to sort of wipe over the bottle again. And when it's big long strips of paper, it takes quite a while, or it can, I mean, not huge amounts of time again, but it takes longer than scraping the top paper off with your nail and then using the Goo Gone for the rest. So this one had 3 bits. I'd actually left quite a bit of paper on that, and that's taking quite a bit longer for me to wipe over than the next one that only had residue, sticker residue. So it mainly gets off the sticky stuff. It will soak through the paper and let you to get that off, but I find getting the most of it off that you can is better. And then I use a drier part of my cloth to wipe over everywhere. And then every now and then, I don't do this always with these cases, I like to take it out and find any diamonds that have got themselves stuck in the bottom. Get rid of those. And this is my actual PaintGem branded case that takes 30 bottles. So there we go. That one can now go back on the shelf and we can have a look at the completed paintings. So I'll show you Safari first, and you will sort of see by the animals. You could potentially put ABs on a zebra, but would it bring a huge amount extra to it? Say, I don't do it on every animal. And I didn't do it on every ocean animal, but you will see that some of them, it really works on those. And then some kits I like to just leave as the actual diamonds, isn't he? He's a handsome gorilla. Then we have buffalo, camel, panda, hippo. I love the shadings of browns in these. Hyena, elephant, tiger. He maybe would have looked good with some ABs in his green eyes. The safari, giraffe, and the koala. Where was the yellow? We did, oh, there we go, found it. Where's the animal? I found what had the yellow. There we go, the lemur's eyes. That was literally what the bright yellow was for, which was 4 diamonds. And then some of the bright green was for the tiger. Where was the tiger? He's in here somewhere. Yeah, bright green on the tiger, but that doesn't have the actual bright yellow. It has the orange, but not the bright yellow. So we had the bright yellow in that kit for the lemur's eyes. And that's it. But hey, he looks so much better for his yellow eyes, so I'll take it. So that is safari. And then ocean, I say this is the one where I did add ABs to some of them. So I didn't add them to the koi carp. Now some of this will have been whether I had the right ABs, and some of it would have been I didn't feel like the animal suited the AB. Then we've got the bull shark, jellyfish. This is where I put quite a few ABs. So I do have just the little white ABs just in the bubbles and in the top part of the jellyfish, but then I've actually got orange and purple mixed in the tentacles of the jellyfish. I think that really suited it. The crab, I've actually got it in the coral, more so than the crab itself. I thought the coral suited the AB. I don't have any in the great white shark. For the tuna fish, I just have one for his eye. That's it. There's actually some white here, but I chose to keep that the normal white. I just did his eye. Starfish, I just have some, again, in the seaweed, more than on the actual starfish itself. I possibly would have got away with it in the white here, but I didn't have the same colour for this starfish, so I just did the green. Then for the sea turtle, I don't have any. Again, I possibly could have just done the white in the bubbles. Pufferfish doesn't have any ABs, but they still look so nice even without. The octopus, I did actually put some in the bubbles and I just did the eyes again, so just a little bit of AB. For the lobster, I did the grass or the seaweed or the whatever it is, ocean plants, but I didn't do the lobster. For the seahorse, I did quite a bit. So again, I've got the purple in sort of this coral, but then I have got it scattered throughout the whole seahorse. It's like the yellowy orange I've done as an AB. I think seahorse suits it. For the marlin, I didn't do any. For the blue whale, I also didn't do any. Clownfish, I did. So I did some of both the yellow and the white on the clownfish. Again, I think they're a fish. They're not holographic. You can't quite see it on their scales, but I think they suit it. For the bannerfish, Red Sea bannerfish, I've done, again, just a little bit. Some of them I may have done more if I'd had the colours, but I didn't. I've also done some of the white in the bubbles, but I didn't do the white on the fin because I wanted to more highlight the yellow that was done as an AB instead. So yeah, that is my ocean and safari sets ready to go up on my shelf, and that is 2 more kits down, slowly getting there, feeling like I'm getting on top of my dekitting. But thank you all so much for being here and for watching, and I'll speak to you all again soon.